Hi, my name is Susan Grace, and welcome to another episode of A Woman's Journal. Remember, this is a community I'm building for women where we come here, chit chat, talk, encourage, and empower one another. My guest today is one that's not new to your screens. Well, to your phone screens. You have seen her do amazing stuff online. She disappeared at some point, but then she resurfaced with great things, and we're going to be unpacking that. But in this episode, we get to understand the importance of forgiveness, the struggles that come with it, and then also the challenges that come with the salvation journey. All that on this episode. But let me remind you to hit that subscribe button, and you can also talk to us on our social media handles. That is at A Woman's Journal Podcast, and you can also talk to me directly at SusanGrace_KE. Let's get to it. We've not even started the discussion, but it's already a blast in here. Ladies and gentlemen, anytime you're around Tracy Waithera, it's a whole different vibe. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Unajua unafanyanga naongea Kikuyu sana. You're one of the people who makes me speak Kikuyu a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm helping you connect with your culture. Yeah?
Nago koreha school fees. Na juzi unajua ulikuwa parents. Unajua umepanda bei. So please, nipatie bei ya nyumbani.
Negogeria kurora.
Negogeria. You consult na team.
Negogeria manager.
Oh my God, Tracy, it is so amazing to have you here. Karibu sana. I know we've been planning this for a long minute. But here we are.
Yeah.
And you look nice.
Thank you. And you too. You look so gorgeous. You look like an angel.
Thank you.
For real. You look, oh my God.
Asante.
You motivate me so much.
On TikTok.
Oh my God. Hey, you're like a spirit. It's a spiritual dose. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For real.
To get a till number.
Nila tu number unajua. I told you guys I want to have a good time. It's so nice to see you. Unajua kuna swali nimekuuliza hapa. Ukasema, how is the journey in salvation taking you so far?
Wow. I don't know if people expect it to be hard. Mm-hmm. So already you have like that misconception of like, it's gonna be so hard when you get saved. I feel like when I came to Christ, my life became easier. Mm-hmm. It was so hard without him.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in a space where, when you're falling down, but there's like a firm bed somewhere, like you can lay on and be comfortable. Mm-hmm. Literally, that's how I feel in my salvation journey. I feel like I've been looking for this bed for way too long, somewhere to just lay, have peace of mind. And I feel like he did that for me.
Look at you, girl.
Yeah, he did that.
Let me tell you something that shocked me about you. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to reach out to Tracy. I'd sent you a WhatsApp message. So Nico, hey, are we not doing this thing? So I called her. I'm like, sijui kama umeona message yangu WhatsApp. Unatry kunisnap. So you told me that you actually have moments where you deliberately take a break from social media.
Oh yes, very oftenly.
What inspired that?
There was a time that social media was like a god to me. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of idols that we go to. And so for me, it was like an idol. So it had consumed me so much that I was relying on it. My time is just, every time it's on social media, passive scrolling, without even learning. Like just, it's like an escapism. Like I'm using social media to escape. Mm-hmm. And so when my mental health was, it was ilikuwa imefika mwisho. It was like a very dark moment. I was like, you're escaping in the same space that is making you feel like you're drowning. Uh-huh. And so the best thing you can do, because this is where you work, this is where you do all your things, it's to know how to balance. Know how do you set time away from it, because it's consuming. It consumes you so much, because sometimes you've not even like probably mend your algorithm. Mm-hmm. So you're just consuming anything. All negative whatever's from the media, you're just breathing them. You soak into all this negative energy from social media.
Yeah. Kwanza siku hizi you enter.
Oh my God.
Someone has passed away. There's a building on fire. Something has collapsed. It's like, do we not have anything good happening?
I know, right? I know, right? Like negative news is like how do I say this? I feel like the negative news quite sells more than the
Than
truth.
the positive, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I found that now, like, in such a space where I was like, this has been so much and it's too much. I just need to move away from it.
Yeah.
And so I turned off all my social media platforms. It's like I just wanted to reconnect with something else, but not what I was connecting to. I was even able to cultivate my walk with Christ away from the platforms because now I can be able to switch it off, be present, connect with nature. Those were things I never used to do. I was like living in autopilot. I was even telling someone in a previous interview, I never used to feel bad. I never used to look at the skies like the way right now I can look at the skies or trees or anything from nature. I had no connection with Mother Nature. I was just moving randomly. And so receiving Christ is like another eye got opened.
Yeah.
And I was like, my God, where have you been all my
My
life?
entire life. Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
I started living. I think I was surviving.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there's a difference between living and surviving.
Yeah, I was surviving.
And
it's now,
autopilot.
yes. So when
Yeah.
I found Jesus, I started living. I started breathing. I found this peace that I was looking for all my life. Because I've grown in quite a rough environment. And so it's like every time you're like, okay, your life has all this chaotic, how do I call it? It's like
It's like a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get you.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess. And so finding someone who helped me like mend the mess or even take the mess, and he's like, I take the good and the mess to work together. I'm like, shut up. What? Where have you been? Jesus. I was like, what? Ajay. I was like, I've been looking for men for all this, for all these
many years.
And you are the guy. You are the one.
But you know, Tracy, we usually have that final thing that makes us say, by the now, minenda kwa Christ. Like for me, you see the scar on my hand?
Yeah.
I think this was one of those dark moments and I was just done with life.
Yeah.
And there's a very funny story behind this scar because I did it with the intention of just taking my life. And the next morning I woke up. So of course, nimejaa damu nini, and I'm like, I'm still alive. And I remember that broke me down. And I'm just like, hey, God, something has to change. And I think that was the first time I was so desperate for God. I was like, atastaki utumane, I want you to come by yourself. What was that moment for you that you were like, hey, God, hapa, we need to do like a U-turn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having the brand and everything going on, I was in a certain environment or having like friends around me who every time, like I'm in a season in my life, things from the outside look amazing. But there is this deep void that I don't really understand what's happening. And there's nothing that is filling it. So one time I'm in my balcony, then I'm having all these suicidal thoughts coming up. Left, right, and center. Like crazy suicidal thoughts. And these voices of like unworthiness. You're not valued, you're not important, all these stuffs. But deep down, I had a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
I had a lot of unforgiveness towards my earthly dad. I had all these abandonment issues that I had not dealt with from, my dad abandoning us when we were quite young, and then a single mom struggling left, right, and center each and every day to, at least have a meal. And so it's like we literally living like hand to mouth. And so, I mean, this season where things look like I'm doing amazing, but deep down there is something that is happening, and I'm like, what's really happening in my life?
Oh, really?
I don't understand. There's a lack of fulfillment in everything that I'm doing. May it be comedy, may it be social media, may it be friends, may it be family. I just feel discontent with my life. And so having these suicidal thoughts, I was like, I never knew that I would ever have like such thoughts till now that day. And so that's when I had like an encounter with Jesus. Because there was this form of like a wind, and then this spirit of like peace just came in, and then it was like, I've been here all along. That shook me to the core. I was like, what was that?
Somebody translate this for me.
What was that?
Yeah.
I had never had like such an experience in my life. I never had an experience where like I am seated somewhere, then actually a voice away from mine is like, now talking to me. I'm like, shoot. I had not gone to church for like years, 5 years or more. After I just, knew that I had all this unforgiveness going on and I had to, reconnect with my dad and all that, I started therapy. And so because I was like, there is something deeper that I need to understand what's really happening. And so from that time, it's like I was so ready to let go of everything. I was ready to let go of all the platforms. I was ready to just drop each and everything that has been going on in my life and just taste something new.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I know you, God, from my mom. I know you from people. I know you from churches, people following. I've seen you in things. I want to know you for me.
Direct.
You talk to people, then talk to me. Like, tell me, what is this void that I'm always feeling? How can we be spending the day maybe with people and friends? We are happy. Then in the evening, I'm crying myself to sleep. I am depressed. I am not even voicing it. So I'm just suppressing all these things that are going on in my life. I don't know who to run to. Everyone that I'm running to, it's like I'm the one who is mad. I'm the one who is not knowing like what's really happening, because people are looking at the outward appearance.
Yeah, because they're like,
you're doing good.
Yeah.
Clients are there. Things are going on. Like things are truly going on.
On the surface.
But there is some emptiness from the inside. It's like you've built this beautiful castle from the outside, but inside it's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
And it was time to demolish the castle. I got into spaces where like I would have like business opportunities, but someone would be like, because of the content that you produce or the content that you create, you won't be able to get this opportunity, like an opportunity from outside the country of branding and marketing. So God was like doing some things. I had some forms of rejection that came in.
Wait, so this is after you've given your life to Christ?
This is before. No, this is when I'm here now. Before I even get to like all this, I'm trying to kill myself. It's like all this I'm avoiding all these things that have been happening, trying to bring out something more than what I've been, but I'm not answering this call.
Ooh.
When the phone is ringing, it's even due. Your cup is empty. You've always been giving to the world. Of course, as a firstborn, you're the mother hen. And always putting your integrity in jeopardy so that you may provide for other people.
You prioritize everybody else.
Exactly. That was like a lifestyle I was living. Always prioritizing people, looking after people, always being there for each and everyone, but myself, zero.
Ooh, that hits hard.
I had built all this facade thing that I look like I have all this confidence and everything, but deep down there is some form of insecurity, lack of self-worth, lack of self-awareness. My identity is built on the social media, on maybe something I would run to. Let's say maybe it's food, let's say maybe it's alcohol, or maybe a lot of things I would run to. And none of it, there is none that would make me feel whole. That's the truth. Like there is no way that I was running to that I would feel whole. Yeah. The only day that I started like feeling fulfilled is now that day.
That the Lord.
Hey.
The Lord himself.
I was like, my therapist is the one who introduced me to Jesus.
Ooh.
My therapist introduced me to grace. I didn't know grace. I didn't know. I've been in church all my life, but I didn't know grace. Even today, it's still, it shocks me in a way that I received Christ like 3 times in church growing up, but I had never received him.
Ni ile ya wenye wanataka kuokoka kujeni mbele?
Yeah.
3 times.
3 times. And I never felt what I felt like in my house that day. I never had such an experience.
Yeah. And I love that you're saying this because we've been raised with the expectation that you can only meet God in church.
That's the thing.
Yeah. You can also meet him in your balcony, in a silent space, in a shop around the corner. You can meet him anywhere. Yeah.
That's actually, it's a wrong teaching to always think like God, there's somewhere you can find him. Like God is everywhere. He is everywhere. Yeah, he is everywhere. And the fact that I was living my life not considering like God is there, this is the thing. From me being abandoned by my dad, I always had this thought like God abandons people.
Oh no, because I've had a similar thought, but now not with God, but with men.
For me, it's like it came to both, because there was a season in my life where I used to just not like men, like growing up. Growing up, I think started interacting with men, I think as an adult.
Yeah.
I had really closed a door because there's what I had seen from my dad happening and all that thing. And so I had that wrong teaching of like, now every man is like your dad. Every man is looking forward to like hurt you or harm you.
And disappear.
Because exactly, and disappear because that's what happened to your mama. But that was that's a wrong narrative. It's a wrong belief.
And you know what's so scary?
It's a wrong one.
Sometimes we build our identity around it. Like for me, I always felt especially in my first 20s, in my early 20s, in my early 20s, I would say I always had this narrative of, because my father didn't choose me, I'm not going to expect men to choose me. So it's okay if you don't choose me as a man. And you know what would happen? I would end up entertaining ghosters. So mwanaume anani ghost, anarudi Thursday, hey beautiful, hello handsome. Alafu utamwona huko Monday kama Easter.
Oh my God.
And so I was very okay with it. I was like, I mean, I'm not used to, and you know, I'm the only child. So I don't even have brothers. And I'm the eldest cousin. So I can't even say that I have elder cousins.
Yeah.
So for me, there was honestly a deficiency of men and male figures in my life. So any attention I got from a man, I was like, okay, if that's all you have, I'll take it. You know? Lakini wacha nikuambie, siku nilifunguka macho wewe. Wanaume wameumia.
Wow.
Because I realized I was entertaining a lot of nonsense and I was building my identity around absent men. And you know, it comes down to, you don't see yourself as valuable. Unajiona tu when mdemu wa bare minimum. So mwanaume akikupea bare minimum uko sawa. But let me tell you, there's something that comes with giving your life to Christ.
Bare minimum.
Because you also think you're bare minimum. You know, so the minute you get your identity in Christ, and this is not us over spiritualizing things, kuna confidence inakupeanga. And you're like, you have to tell me, there's a man who died for me on the cross.
Yeah.
So why am I here entertaining?
Imagine.
Upon, you know, akijisikia ameboeka, you know. So I really struggled with it. But now I had to stop this mindset of, daddy issues, because we have a way of also romanticizing daddy issues. We're like, I have daddy issues. It's not a cool thing. It's not something to be bragging about.
Go to therapy, heal.
Yeah, please. Tafadhali heal. So now I'm thinking about it for you.
Yeah.
When you first born, dad amekuacha. There must have been a lot of pressure on you, and that took a toll on your mental health, didn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, I was talking to my mama and then I was like, you know, because it's my birthday month, I would want you to go back and tell me, how was it really growing up? And so she would confess of how like she would probably put me in a certain space or maybe in a family member's house, and it's because she really does not have anything. She doesn't have anything to do. Like she has me and my sister, but now
what more?
Amefukuzwa. She has nothing, so she's confused. And so she's like, I had to leave you under people's care for me to just try and make ends meet in another space. And so I found myself moving a lot growing up. So each and every time I had all this thing of like, I'm always the one who is trying to do the best in every household that is trying to house us. Because of course we are like a responsibility.
Right.
You get? Yeah. So I grew with it. No, even at home, friends, business, you have all these things of like, you know, it's very funny. When you have a mindset that is limiting, or when you've grown into a space of, you know, poverty and all these things, you have a mindset that really needs to be restructured. It's like a funny mindset of like, you carry with you bad money habits. You carry belief systems that won't even really work for you and all these things. So growing up always like being the one who is responsible for others, I think it made me forget that you can be present for yourself. And so for the first time in my adult life, I discovered that I can be present for myself before I'm present for others. That changed my life.
Because you also have to take care of yourself before you take care of other people.
I used to always take care, but I'm not filling my cup. So every time I'm showing up with an empty cup, and that's why I'm feeling exactly.
Unafuliza cup. I'm so worried.
And because, of course, you have issues of people pleasing, you'll still continue to pour from an empty cup because you want to please people. And so that's why I'm like, you need to be very introspective and look at what are these belief systems that you've gotten that you need to now
Yeah.
And there are so many. You don't even have time like to gossip. You need a lot of time to go and work on your belief system. It's a job. It's a job.
Maybe unlearning is a lot of work.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's a lot because some of them are limiting maybe the way you show up in business. They are limiting how you show up for your dreams, goals, and visions. They are limiting how you show up for your purpose.
Even for yourself.
Yes, all these things, like, it limits. That's why I'm like, I love a holistic approach to life.
Yeah.
Because one thing is affecting everything. And when you look at life from that scope, things change. They change because now you won't be there trying to solve one issue. You'll be solving like, what's really the main issue that's making you show up to the world like this? Where is it coming from? Is it trauma? Is it trauma-based response? I saw a quote that was like, go heal so that you can let people love you and stop, like go heal so that you can be open. Like, for me, that was so deep in my life. I had to really go to, like, I'm like, hey, I need to go through this journey of like, wait.
I have to heal.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're being loved, it feels like a trap.
Even it's like it's so you get to a point where you're like, when you get someone who is a good man or someone who is loving and caring towards you, you're like, this is too good to be true.
You sabotage. Sindio, I have sabotage to solve it because I'm like, unajua nimezoea conditions zinafanya nikuwe tu ka soldier, ka Taliban. Hey, then you meet someone who's giving you baby girl treatment, you're like, one Illuminati.
So that's God showing you that I have good men.
Yeah.
I have good women. I heal people. I change people. I transform people.
Come on.
Like God is always like screaming that. Whatever he's been doing in my life, that's what he did. He introduced friends that care so much that I was like, there are people like this. Because I was always the one who cares towards people. Then God placed me in a season
where now you're the one receiving.
Where now I'm the one who is receiving the help. This time I was so sick, and then a friend like bought me drugs, like drugs.
Medicine.
Yeah, Dava, medicine. Like a friend offered to buy me like some medicine. I was like, Lord Jesus, such people exist. I was always the one even showing up for me. I take myself to the hospital. Like those things, when things just happen, I'm like, I'm always the one who is like, you give, and then you'll always show up,
Anger. Yeah.
Then God just placed me in a season where I'm not the one who is receiving. And that humbled me so much.
And it feels nice, doesn't it?
Oh my God. God's spirit is in people. And he uses people. And he uses even people who like you think he can't use. He uses those. They come and give you love. They care. They protect you. They care about your integrity, character. They give you a safe space. A space you've always like been, you're like, will I ever have like a safe space? God gives you a safe space. He gives you people who you're safe to even talk about your traumas, talk about your life experiences.
Without being judged.
Yeah.
Lakini Tracy, wewe unajua, you disappeared from the face of social media. Ukarudi tuko bikini body. It's given bikini. It's given let's go to the beach. Girl! Give us tips. Okay, not us, but give people tips.
Grace transformation.
Grace transformation. Ni God, man, say.
Grace transformation.
On a serious note, what did you do?
I've told you I love like a holistic approach.
Yes.
I was really stress eating. I was under a lot of stress. And I used to escape to food every time, big time. Like when I'm stressed, I would find like food would comfort me. And so when you look at my a younger version of myself, was like this size. But now there was that a period of like a few years where now things changed, and that's the season where I was really escaping to food. I was using food to numb my feelings. Whatever maybe is crying out and wants to be heard, I have food to numb it. I feed it. Yes, literally. And so I went into a season of asking myself, can't you do better, T? Can't you do better for yourself? Can't you do better with your food intake? Can't you do better with your emotions, since now you're emotionally eating? What can you do with these emotions? Can you feel them and not allow them to feel you?
Now going to the root.
To the root of these things. I had to go back to the now, if you're stress eating, what is this stress that is causing you stress eat?
To eat a lot, yeah.
I have all these unforgiveness issues coming from deep down. I could not even like call my dad like dad. I was like feeling like, oh my God, the words as he talking. I can't. And it's because I have all these resentments that is coming from somewhere so deep. And so I went into a journey of now understanding my emotions, emotional intelligence. My goodness. Consuming food when you're aware. There is portion control. I've been doing the portion control for the last 2 years. So it's not something that has happened like boom.
There's a lot of work that went into it.
There is some discipline. There is the discipline of choosing not to eat junk today, and I choose to eat some veggies, things that I would not do. But I choose to be disciplined in that mode. I choose to be disciplined to have like my water intake, 40 liters a week. I've been keeping promises to people. I went into a season of keeping promises to me.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. You always kept promises for other people. Now it's time to keep promises for you.
Yes.
Love it.
And one of the promises was, T, you need to look at your emotions. You need to feel them but not let them feel you. You need to look at your spiritual journey. You need to look at your physical body. You need to look at your whole like emotional being. Those were things I never ever like gave attention to. And now I went into a season of looking at them like face to face. I'm like, spirituality, okahaha. Let's go.
Kinda. I love that you brought that out because, most people get frustrated because they're like, I'm trying to lose weight. I've been going to the gym. I'm fixing my diet. What's not happening? But I love that you brought in the perspective of enda kwa roots, the root cause. Maybe that's where you start and work your way up.
And if something matters to you, you will be consistent to it. So I will be consistent to eating healthy. I will be consistent and then I'm consuming things awarely. It does not mean even like right now I don't just like take junk. I have a cheating day, literally. Yeah, and I will do it without even like beating myself up. And even if right now I gained weight, I'm in a space where now I know my self-worth. I had gained weight. I had gained weight with no self-worth. And so right now, even if I gain, probably if I want to gain, I'm like, I know my self-worth. I know who I am. I know where I come from.
Because it's not coming from a place of stress eating.
Exactly.
I just want to
contentment, grace, I'm blessed.
Those are the words, girl. Lakini wacha nikuconfess here.
Yeah.
Kama kuna mtu anaogopa ku lose weight. I used to go to the gym and it really worked. So people are like, oh my God, you look so toned. Hey, you've lost the weight. I'm like, that would just give me PTSD because when I was in campus, Tracy, let me tell you, I got bullied. I was so skinny. Nita one shot to throwbacks. I was so skinny.
My goodness.
So I was called names. I was teased. Oh, mifupa mikavu, nini. In fact, the thing that broke me the most, in your early 20s, you're hoping to find like a good jama. So people would tell me, wanaume wapendi mifupa. Mifupa ni ya umbwa. Like bones, men don't like bones. Bones belong to the dogs. Let me tell you, I used to feel bad. So what I used to do
That's
And I've
sad.
never confessed this in public. I used to wear tights under my pants. Nasi tights are thick tights. They're these thick tights I used to have. So I'd wear tights, then I wear trousers on top. Then ni pange ndo hizo bumps za tights zisionekani. Ndio at least nikae nikona twenye, you know. And then huku juu, because you know when you're skinny it shows huku kwa tumbo.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't wear anything short sleeve or a vest. Wacha juu nimalize na sweater. So I have so much PTSD from being skinny, being called ugly, you cannot find a partner.
Yeah.
Lakini 2020 Mungu akafanya ile kitu.
Look at you.
Like, you see how you disappeared, then you appeared having lost. Me, I disappeared and resurfaced with, you know. And now I got to a place where now me wanting to lose weight, going to the gym was voluntary.
I have a question. How did you work on yourself? How did you work on regaining your self-confidence from getting and receiving such verbal words from the outside?
Yeah.
Now, have you been working on it now inwards? Yeah. How did you work on it?
Ilikuwa kazi, but I think for me I went from the inside and I'm like I would tell myself there's so much potential in you, Susan, and there are very many people who want to dim your light. So when utaamua kama utakubaliwa idim ama hawataidim. And for a minute, I allowed people to dim the light. But it got to a place because I like to write my dreams down. Even this podcast, I wrote it down. I wrote down the people I want to have on this podcast. And you know, when you write something, it starts to, you see the image.
Yes.
So I'd write my dreams down. I always wanted to be a journalist. I always wanted to work on TV. So I'd write, one day I'll be a presenter. One day I'll host a show. One day I'll do this. One day I'll do this. So I'd look at that list and I'm like, so if you allow people to get to you, nani atafanya hizi dreams? Because at the end of the day, you're the only person who can execute your dreams better.
Come on.
We can both have the same dream of maybe having such a podcast.
Yes.
But mi niko na ile vision yenye nishaona na kuna vision yenye umeona.
True.
So I can't execute your dream. Hata unipatie resources, uniambie call this, I can't. So I was like, you have things to achieve and you're going to be great. I always had to affirm myself.
Yeah.
You are destined for greatness. You're doing well. But sasa ukikubali watu washinda kikwambia hizi vitu, sasa alafu who will do these things?
I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that. I love that.
And I just kept telling God, hey, you gotta do it. By the way, when I tell you pray about everything, I pray to God. I'm like, I want to be thick. Aya, dinare hauna prayer points. Not John 3:16.
Wow.
And I'm like, hey, God, me. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I actually want to grow a bit thicker. Because I feel like, hey, man, nilikapitia.
Yeah.
Yeah. But right now, I'm content. If I want to go to the gym, it's because of, it's voluntary. If I want to gain weight, But, hey, let me tell you, body shaming is just something else.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on you. And, I was even going through some of your videos and the comments, and I'm seeing people saying things like, of course, there are people who are like, yeah, go you. But there are people who are like, hi, apana, hange lose weight. Oh, she looked better before.
Yeah.
Oh, sasa anaka different. Do you see some of those comments?
Yeah.
And how do you go about it? How do you brush them off?
If I'm doing different, then I'm doing amazing.
Ooh.
You can't be at the top without being the topic.
Oof.
You
Bites.
You see, the same thing you're saying, like you have dreams and visions. I have a dream and visions of the woman I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And becoming is a process. And so if I allow voice from this is the thing, and it's like a mantra, and I love it. If there is no enemy within, the enemy from the outside can't bother me.
There's no enemy from within.
Yeah, so I myself, I don't see myself the way they are trying to put up. Yes, that's not me. I know I'm kind, I know I'm beautiful, I know I'm God's masterpiece.
Come on, girl.
I know he's a potter, so I'm like, I'm his clay. He's just molding me to be, into this image of Christ. And so, am I going to listen to people or what Christ say? Like, is it God's word or people's word? I had to ask myself that question for the longest time. So that I can be able to stand and look at my destiny and my purpose and what God wants me to do. For the longest time, I used to be in spaces where I was like, no, I don't want to judge Jesus because He saved me from killing myself.
Come on, girl.
He saved me from the poverty bondages that we have grown from. He has saved me from a million things. Nobody in my comment knows me. They don't know me. You don't know me. Like me, there is me as a human being. You know? And so I'm like, I thank God that he can give you an identity and you can stand on it. Because if you're standing in a space where you're being identified by people's words, you keep on then switching up and on because of them. And so I had to be in a space of like, Waithera, your purpose matters more than whatever people are gonna say. Jesus himself had people who are like, yo, we love you, we love you, we love you, yeah, yeah, oh my God, Messiah. The other time, crucify him, crucify him, crucify him. I've had all those versions from social media. I have had all those things. People one time, they're like, oh my God, we love you. The next time, oh my God, you're this, you're this. They'll start like abusing you. I cannot be in this season focusing on my dreams and whatever God is calling me to be and still listen to people. It's not that season to listen to that voices. It's like I'm not in that season. Yeah, and God had to raise it so much in my life. I have been in spaces where I'm always listening to people, whether it comes to my dreams, visions, and things, and life, how I'm doing things. I was always listening to people. I've been in spaces where like I'm being constricted. And so I can't even see my own potential because I don't even see it myself. And so going into a season where God is like, I want to introduce you to yourself because you don't really know you. And it's a continuous journey. He continues showing you who you really are. And God is like, I can see your potential, but you don't even see it. And you need to be going to that journey of now cultivating this. You cultivate an inner strength of understanding that you are created by God, you're placed here by God, not by people, and for a purpose. And so that was greater than people's words. It was totally greater. And so I know even when I look like at sometimes at the comments, you can't be at the top without being the topic.
Period. She said what she said. Ningekwambia drop mic.
It means then I'm doing something. If
something worth talking about.
Exactly. Then why are you talking about me? It means there's something.
And I feel like if you remain the same for like 10 years, then you have to do something that will make people talk about you.
This is the thing, darling. People don't like change. And with change is the only way you can change your life. If you want something different, you'll have to do something different. So why do you want me to do the same? You want me to remain the same? I can't do that. I've been so mediocre for the longest time.
You still want me to be mediocre?
Mediocre, come on. Exactly. Then what are we doing? We are going on to a cycle that is not beneficial. It's not helping us get into our purposes.
And you know the irony is...
It's making us like, future people like, I don't want to... And then it's like, girl, sit up.
Come on.
I've given you some light. There are people you have to save. It's not that. You see, the people who like probably maybe God is going to motivate or inspire from me. That's what that really matters. That's it. I'm placed here for those. And so if I'm not inspiring you, if I'm not helping you grow, if I'm not helping you change, the only thing you can see or maybe you can do is project your insecurities, then I'm not your cup of tea. And that's it. And that's imagine sometimes you just have to sit well with these things because
make peace.
Can you imagine God has not done anything with me yet?
He's not even scratching.
He's not even, So can you imagine?
These two distractions.
To whom much is given,
much is expected.
Thank you.
Period. And you know the irony is, when you're this way, people talk. When you're this way, they'll talk. When you're there, they'll talk. So might as well just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
People will always have an opinion.
I mean, that season of just strengthening that so much, like you can't be in spaces where you always let people to define your life for you.
And you can't impress everybody. But so earlier on nilikuwa nasema, you know how people say, oh, kana daddy issues. But then, unajua kuna time nilikuwa I think I had confined myself with that identity of, I'm this, I'm that, but I'm also a girl with daddy issues, which is the devil's work, And growing up without a father, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like growing up without a father who's present, it has an impact on someone's life, especially for a girl. True?
It's so deep, I don't know even, I'm like...
Let's go, let's dive.
I had this wrong doctrine. I believed just because my dad left me, that's what God does. So it made me not have a relationship of daughter, heavenly daddy relationship. It makes me creating a bond like with God. It's like you start learning God again, but you're not learning him as a father. Because you've been relying on your strengths and doing things, making ends meet, making all this. And then God introduces you into this season of like, I want you to rely on me.
Come on.
You're like, how do I do that? It becomes news. How to rely on God. And that's why I always say, like, one thing that has really changed with my relationship with God is like he has introduced me to my own femininity. Like he has made me let my guard down. I had hardened my heart so much. And it got hardened even from having those daddy issues. Because when your dad is not present, there's that care and all that, and there's something you're lacking in there. There's something. And so you go into this season, or let me call it a season, where you start cultivating now your relationship with God, but no as a father. No, not like as God. He is God. But now as a father now. And that's something you have to cultivate if you grew up having daddy issues. Because the same way you found it difficult, even right now, probably you find it difficult bonding with your father, it might be the reason why you're not bonding enough with God.
Oh.
Yes. I used to not bond with God. I didn't know he can be there for me present as a daddy. I don't know how a daddy loves a daughter.
You and I both, girl.
I didn't know all these things. So when I'm here and then God is like, I love you. I'm your heavenly daddy. I care about you. I care about your needs. It shocked me till to date.
Yeah.
Till to date. His love every time, it's like, it dawns on me. Like God's love every day, it's like it surprises me. It blows my mind each and every day. I'm like, you love me this much, you care about things, you know me even before I mention something. You know I need it. I didn't have this awareness before. I didn't know that there's someone who cares about me. I didn't have the awareness. I didn't know. And so you live from that state of not knowing that you're loved, you're cared for, you're protected, you're seen, you're safe.
You were especially safe.
I had to cultivate that environment of telling myself that, Tracy, you're safe, because I had a lot of anxious, a lot of anxiety. Your heart keeps on pounding and pounding. You're overthinking about your tomorrow. I didn't know someone has my tomorrow. I didn't have that awareness that kuna mtu ameshikilia your tomorrow hivi.
Na atakusort.
I didn't have that awareness. And so I remembered one time my mom crying growing up, and I used to ask myself, who was he crying to? Who was she crying to, alikuwa analilia nani?
Many God.
And so, actually, I always say that helped me cultivate my relationship with God, even more than probably going to his house when I was younger. Me remembering that my mama was crying somewhere. Who alikuwa analilia nani? Who was she crying to? And so I was like, oh my God, God.
It was him all.
It was him all along. And so I never had such a relationship with him. I never had a relationship that you can be vulnerable with him and tell him, by the way, I'm not feeling okay. My heart right now, I'm depressed. I feel da-da-da-da-da-da. I never knew that I can be honest with God. It was news to me. Like, I looked for love for so long I looked for love for so long from the outside. Then God just came and poured his love on me. It changed my life. It changed how I see life. It changed how I see people, how I love people, how I forgive. He changed my heart. It's all worth it. Like having a relationship with God is all worth it. Yeah. It's all worth it.
And I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And in your,
It's okay.
in your struggle with an absent father, did you find yourself in the company of the wrong men with the efforts of trying to fill that void?
Yeah, I did a lot. You see, now I'm a lover.
Yeah.
And so I used to love men no matter how they are. Like even when someone probably has a wife, like I would just love them and they would love me. But most of the time I would feel the contentment of like how they take care of their families. I used to fall for men who have families, and when we talk about their families, they're telling me that they're taking care of them. So to me that was like a turn on, because I was like, wow, you're taking care of your family.
Must be nice.
Because
that your father didn't yeah. Oh no.
For real. So even big time, when I was being like a side chick, I used to advise even like my wababes, able to take care of your home. I used to advise let me tell you, by the way, there is no babes out there.
Advice.
Yes. She hurt me. No.
Yo.
She helped me grow. That's always the thing.
And this was coming from a place of what you are deprived of.
Yeah. So I was trying to, even I'm like, take care of that family. Take care of them. Don't even let your family know that I'm here.
Hotel.
No, see, maybe this is when, this is now before, this is like years ago.
Okay.
When now I was, under someone, I was even, I was under someone. I was living actually in a different county. So I after receiving Christ, this is now like 3 years ago, like, things changed. Things totally changed because that Wababa story is still on me.
Motivational speaker.
No, me and those ladies who I'm goal driven. I am ambitious.
Right.
I have an excellent spirit. Like I had all this perfectionism thing. I'm still working on it, because you cannot be perfect. I'm still working on it. I'm really working on it. And so every time, even when we are talking, I would bond with these elder men because they had like this profound thinking that I can't see with my peers. I can tell these wababes about my dreams. They are there listening. But when I talk about these deep things with my peers, they are like looking at you as if like you're crazy. But I just told someone this business idea and they're even ready to, join and help.
Oh, yeah.
You get? So I've always, it's like you grow quite, grow haraka than your age.
You mature fast.
I've had that. That's it. That's me. I started working at the age of 17. I started cooking from the age of 6. I started doing so I've grown in a space where like I had to put on this masculine thing.
Yeah.
And then when my mama is working, I'm helping out because, her life too, she's trying to make ends meet. She has come from a very difficult space in life, all that. And so I've grown up with that masculine cover. Like, always showing up for the world, meaning, family, you have to be sorted out left, right, and center, why they don't know that. So even when I'm entering into these relationships, I would come from such a space of like, you need to respect home, you need to take care of home. Even when someone is like, today is the day of me taking care of the family, I'm like, go.
Understand.
Understanding, girlfriend.
Understanding side chick. Wacha nikwambie sikai kucheka because
like you pour the love to them because they're giving you this attention and love, but that you were being filled from that deprived spirit. Unajaribu kufila void yenye haikufiliwa na your dad.
Sometimes they can tell. They can pick on it, isn't it?
I think they can or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes or not, because probably when I'm giving them like, that available ear, you can listen and you're loving on them. The two lovey-doveys. those are the things that sometimes maybe in marriage, like people unapanda, like they are not keeping it alive. You get, so you are like the candle medicine, not advocating for that. Jesus is the best mbabas I've met. Okay, more than.
But let me tell you, okay.
The issues can stem all those things, so be very careful. Yeah, so now filling my void with my daddy, now reconciling with my earthly dad and forgiving my earthly dad, it filled a certain void that I was looking for in a man. It healed something. And so I'm like, wow. So I was loving them from an aspect of being like a daddy, Zaddy. Imagine. Yeah, so you need to be really, it's good to walk through your trauma experiences for you not to react in the present circumstances from a point of trauma. Yeah, it's very important.
You see, for me, now it was the other thing. I wasn't really drawn to...
I love this conversation.
Hakuna mtu niliwahi motivate kuza mubabezi. For me, I really struggled with people pleasing.
Yeah.
And what I was telling you earlier, that I would accommodate men under whatever circumstances. So hata kama uliniongelesha vibaya, then you come and tell me sorry. For me, it was always, I just need a man in my life. So whether you are consistent with communication, whether you... I didn't even care about providing. I actually, most of all men I've dealt with, Sijahitisha kitu.
Wow.
Because you see, now for me, I came from a place where my mom was doing very well for herself. She provided, took me to good schools. But now... it doesn't matter how much money she had, it was not filling the daddy void.
Come on.
So for me, it was not about whether you're wealthy, you're loaded. For me, it's you are a man and you're present. And let me tell you, hey, I did a lot of things. Me, mwanaume angenipigia around 8, let's go hang out. I'm like, okay. Because for me, I'm like, I think someone who wants to hang out with me.
Hey, for me, I think then mine was different. Like, look at where they stemming from. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, but like you said, you have to confront those demons. You have to confront those traumas because, you see, if you don't heal from them, like now for me, rather for us, the relationship, and I like that you said that you have to forgive your dad.
Yeah.
That is something I'm still working on, by the way.
I had to.
In progress.
God, it was so hard.
Yeah.
And I pray to God He gives you the grace to do that.
See what you did there, Grace?
Yeah. Oh. Well, for real, I had to cry about it. It was such a serious season of my life, forgiving my dad. Jesus' forgiveness, like when you look at it in a deeper meaning, it was so deep for whatever He did for us. Him dying on the cross for us, it was, I don't know. I can imagine Him dying for such a ratchet woman like me, and then He cleans me, He makes me, He mends me, He transforms me.
And He still
imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine. So I looked at my dad in the same manner of like, look at how God loves me without holding anything back. His love was so much that I just had to give love to my dad. Like God's love to me was so much. I just had to give Him love. And it's grace because it's so unconditional. No matter his behavior, whether he has changed or not, that's not the business. Your business is not to change people. Your business is to acknowledge, yes, you were hurt. Yes, they were not present. Yes, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel, yeah, there was a void. And so right now it's trying to reconcile or trying to, acknowledge that people change and people transform.
Yeah.
And you can't give them a timeline to change. So you just have to love them the way they are. And so that has been something that I've been learning with my dad. I've learned how to love because of him. Why do I say that? I've had to love even his flaws.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I was always like, you can love people's all nice and stuff things. You can love people's all these strengths and whatevers. But can you love people's flaws?
That's where the real test is.
I had to love his flaws and his strengths, his weaknesses. I had to love all of him. And so that has taught me how really real love is. Real love is the love of like God to us, the way he loves us unconditionally. Not looking at our limitations, not looking at me, but because he is good, he chooses to be good to me. It changed my life, Grace.
Are you guys buddies now?
I can't say we are buddies, But I thank God that I can even be able to call him dad. I never used to. It would choke me. But God changed my heart. It was so hard. He had to turn. There's some work that God needs to do in your heart. To just be easy and let go of people's baggages and pain, the pain that they have caused you. And sometimes it's like, when you look at people and just give them a name because of the pain they gave you, you're limiting God. You're limiting God because he's like, why are you only seeing the pain that person gave you? Yeah. Can you look at them like, maybe that's the enemy who just wanted to, do something while you were young, started attacking your purpose while you were so young. So he had to give you a million reasons when you're growing up to not be close to Christ or his love. When you look at things in a deeper level, the perspective changes.
Yeah.
So girl, how is your relationship with God?
It's fantastic. This verse that says, seek first the kingdom of God, everything else will be added unto you. I've not even been focusing so much on the things being added. It's just been seeking God, because let me tell you, unajua ka honeymoon stage. When you start talking to a guy and it feels great. I feel like I've been in that space, but it's prolonged, because every time you get to know God, there's something new to learn. There's something new to unpack. Yani, I find myself reading the same passage and still getting something new out of it every day.
Wow.
So mi wacha nikwambie, kuna watu wananijua kutoka campus. This is the same girl. Let me tell you, Lord, when the Lord works on you, and you see most of my content on socials, it's about Bible stuff, and people I didn't sit down and say, I want to start making content on Christianity and Bible verses. No. What happened was, I'd read the Bible, I'm like, I've never seen this verse. This is interesting. You know what? Wacha ni encourage mtu na. So nafanya video, unapata inboxes. Oh, that was so timely. Oh my God, you have no idea. And the more I do it, the more I realize it's now no longer about content creation. It's ministry.
Oh my God.
Because people come and they're like, Cheki, mi nataka kukutrust na hii prayer request. Kuna vile naomba na ni kama God hanisikii. Pray on my behalf. People come and say, you have no idea what this and this video did to me. I hear people telling me I almost took my life, but I just got on TikTok for whatever reason. I came across this. Yani, sometimes I get emotional in the house. I'm like, because I'm thinking, when I was going through tough times, I wish there was a me to keep posting that content on social media that would have really pushed me. But I always say it's never too late. So my relationship with God has been amazing. And then I also keep telling myself, now that you've created this routine of ministering to people, sometimes I take like a 3-day break. Susanna, are you okay? We've not seen you in a minute.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, wow, So it's getting to a point where I realize I have to keep refilling my cup, because I can't pour from an empty cup.
Come on.
Sitashinda nikwambia John 3:16 from today to December, So I have to keep refilling my cup, because I can see there's a hunger for God with people. To each generation tunakuanga judged ati no kurevia na drugs sherehe. But Tracy, I've come to realize people are hungry for God. People are hungry for God. Maybe wanacheza chini nayo, but people are hungry for God. And I am more than humbled to be one of the many people who's trying to fill in that gap, so that the Bible says my people perish because of lack of knowledge. I don't want anyone to perish because they don't have knowledge. I take that as my responsibility to give you guys a knowledge.
That's beautiful. You're such an encouragement,
Thank you.
There are just times I think it was in a very difficult season of my life, and then I just opened TikTok too, and then you just there with your beautiful voice, and you encouraged me big time. One thing that I love is being spirit-led. When you're spirit-led, you tend to, whatever you create, it's ministering to other people. Sometimes you might just look at it like maybe it's just a video, but the Holy Spirit has all this. It's like akona kirende, like Grace Aria, kirende 1 2 3, huyu atafikiwa na huyu atahili, huyu atasikia vizuri, like that. That's how like being spirit led, yani it changes lives.
Yeah.
It changes lives because the Holy Spirit is putting a word in you, and then you're there telling us whatever the Holy Spirit is ministering to you. It's encouraging when you're going through a tough time. Have you ever just opened your space, maybe it's YouTube or where maybe you watch maybe sermons, you're going through a tough time, then you see a topic that is addressing whatever you're going through, and then when you just open it, you're crying throughout the sermon, oh God, jeez, that's the same with you.
Yeah.
When I open TikTok and maybe I get like a word of encouragement from you, it's like, you get.
Thank
so
you,
I was
yeah.
like, oh my God. It's being spirit led it's amazing. It saves life more than you even know or think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what most people may not know is, and I like that you've said spirit led. Do you know most of my videos, 99% of them, spirit ikideposit sai na record. Sinanga ati wacha niandike kwa content plan. I might step out kidogo, go do that video, post it, because I always feel like there's somebody somewhere who actually needs this message urgently. So I don't have time to play around with people's destiny.
Come on.
I don't have time to say, wacha nikifika home, I'll see. I'm like, if God has put it so heavily in my heart right now,
come on.
It's not even for me, it's for someone. So ndatoka hapa nena nifanya ka video ni post. So baadaye ndo nitaona watu wakisema, hey, that was, you know. But anyway, I love to do that. But now that we're speaking about encouragement, Tracy, nataka uangalie hii camera pale. I want you to give somebody a word of encouragement, someone who's going through a rough time, someone who feels like, me sina purpose yote, I'm ready to take the exit. I want you to speak to that person.
Wow. Well, hello, beautiful people. Now, a word of encouragement is, most of the times when we are going through dark seasons, or maybe you're in a dark space of your life, you tend to feel like God is not present. But that's always a lie. It's a lie from the enemy. The enemy here, I mean the devil. He's lying because he wants you to worry. He wants you to be anxious. He wants you to just shake and things like you need to be in control of the situation. Sometimes all you have to do is just be still and know that God is God. I've been learning to be still, and God has been fighting all my battles. And so when you're feeling like God is not present, no, he's so near, even more than you can imagine. When the world was like desolate and it was empty, still the Spirit of God was hovering around. So no matter how many times the enemy tries to tell you, like when you're in your valley, like God is not present. He's the God of the valleys. He's God of the mountains. So embrace the journey. So he's present with you when you're going through the difficult season. He got you. He has you. He has you in his mind. Don't forget that, because we tend to forget that so much when you're going through like a dark season. So no, God is still present with you in all seasons of your life. Yeah, he's the Alpha and Omega. He's the beginning and the end.
Come on. Yeah.
So whatever you're worried about, God has it sorted out.
Wow, fantastic. And I just feel like adding Exodus 14 there that says, the Lord himself will fight for you. You just need to stay calm. Imagine that's all he's telling you. But tulia tu
nitakupanga, yeah. Rely on him. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this so much.
I feel like we should do lunch soon.
We should.
We should. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been amazing. Kama kawaida, your host Susan Grace. Remember to hit that subscribe button, and you can also connect to this community. I told you this is a community I'm building for women, where we come here, we talk, we inspire each other, we empower each other, we do everything nice. Tukipanda tunapanda sisi wote, yeah? So talk to us on our social media handles at A Woman's Journal Podcast. You can also talk to me directly at SusanGrace_KE. Where can people find you on social media, by the way?
Oh, wow. YouTube, Tracy Waithera. Instagram, Tracy Waithera. TikTok, Tracy Waithera. X, Tracy Waithera. The Red, Tracy Waithera.
The number, Tracy Waithera.
All platforms. But don't come to see me mostly. See Jesus.
Follow Jesus.
Follow Jesus.
She's following Jesus.
Yeah.
But they're not bad manners. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next episode of A Woman's Journal. God bless.